Hello everybody and welcome back to Enter the Gungeon Hardmode. We are back once more, as always. And this time let's play as robot. I'm feeling a robot run. I don't know why, but let's just go for it. Let's just jump on in and see if we can get something started. It's been a little while since I played robot on hard mode. And he's got some advantages. We've discussed them at nauseum, but he's got some good advantages. The water's really nice, obviously, but kind of his bigger advantage really is having blanks on hit all the time. I mean, I know that he has less health, so they're not as valuable, but it makes fighting bosses that tad bit easier, in my opinion. So, really, that didn't kill you? Oh, these bullets chase us? What the? I never knew that, ever. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry, but that was just too close to call right there. That was horrible. Why'd you do that to me? I felt like that nitro kind of went off before I even had a chance to see what was going on. Oh, wait a minute. I've just realised we're in this dumpster fire of a room that I created. Do you know what? No, I'm not playing that room. I ain't dealing with this bullshit. That room is a good room that gives you rewards at the end of it. But it is not possible to not get hit in that room in hard mode. I assure you that. I assure you that. Do you know what? I'm just going to take a hit right there. It was completely on purpose. I meant to do it. I completely meant to do it. And now I'm going to run on. Got my daily first room hit out of the way. I have like a quota to fill. And then we move on. But anyways, let's carry on. Let's push forward and see what we can get started today. I've been kind of going through recently and telling random life stories from school. I think last time I was talking about clotheslining a child or something and someone getting Sparta kicked down some stairs. I can't remember if that was the last episode or if the last episode was the one where I talked about my job at the shop. But either way. But yeah, it's kind of weird because at the minute, obviously, I'm sure everyone's kind of like this, but there ain't too many stories going around at the minute because COVID. You don't really get to go out and experience life. You just kind of get stuck inside doing nothing for a while. And over the course of the past year of my time inside, I have nothing to update you on. I mean, it has been rather nice. Oh my goodness. My flatmates, who I initially started living with when I came to the city, have since moved out. It's just me and my girlfriend that live here now. And I have to say, I very much like those two as people, but I love living just as two. It's way better. Especially considering I basically get the house to myself like 99% of the time because my girlfriend still goes out to work, but I work from home. It's great. I get to chill every day. Oh, no. I mean, we got a really cool item, the Living Earth Chambers item that is designed by me, implemented by Nevernamed. But it's not very good for hard mode. All master chambers now give us damage instead of HP, which is great on a normal run for me. But on a hard mode run, ain't so. It ain't so. But yeah, I don't know how many of you have been continuing on from home for the most part. I know plenty of you that are still in school or college, university or whatever are probably still doing your thing from home. I can't imagine how annoying that must be. Like, especially for like really young kids, like having to like do school from home just seems like this is a really cool enemy, by the way. I know I've seen him a few times already, but I just gotta say. Yeah, I gotta say, it's like this thing won't die. Holy shit. It's like a mini boss. Oh, nope, the room's just opened now. Kind of weird. Oh, you big bitch. You got me. But yeah, like, I can't really imagine how bad it must be for, like, the younger kids. Because the thing is, like, especially if it's, like, your first or second year of school and you have to end up doing a full year from home when you're, like, 5 or 6 years old. Like, that's got to have some long-lasting effects, right? Like, even you guys that are in high school, like, I'm sure it's going to have some lasting effects, the fact that basically you didn't get to properly socialize with people, not through a screen for a year. That seems like it could be kind of damaging. And also the fact that, like, it's just a lot harder to focus and a lot harder to, like, to learn that way, at least in my opinion. I don't know how many other people think that, but I can't imagine everyone's keeping their full focus and full attention like they would be at school. I mean, I'm not saying everyone keeps their full attention at school, but at least you probably keep more at school. When you're actually physically there. We'll buy a key and open up that blue chest. But yeah, like, I remember, ooh, it's my item. Hello. I remember there was quite, I know this happened in America as well and a few other places, but there was a lot of funny stuff going around when the homeschooling, like, very first started. It's actually pretty good being able to roll bullets away and have no contact damage. Yeah, there was a lot of, like, really funny shit going around when the whole doing school from home thing started. Mainly, and the one that I always found hilarious, is, like, schools requiring dress codes. And, like, I can kind of understand that to some extent. Like, I feel like still wearing your uniform, at least for the younger kids especially, it keeps the semblance of going to school, and you don't feel as much like you're just at home. So I can kind of understand having to wear school uniform, but, like, there was some absolutely bizarre rules. Like, one of the rules that I think it was my girlfriend's parents, they knew someone that was in school at the time, and they received a letter, and this was like a complaint letter that was like, sent out to basically all the kids in the school. I think it was like year 5 or 6, so it's like primary school levels, elementary school, whatever you want to call it. And students were, according to this letter, were required to wear shoes. What? During online classes inside their own home, they were required to wear shoes. So they could walk away from the computer and take off their shoes and walk around the house. But as soon as they sat back down at the computer and they were in class, they had to wear shoes. It's like, no, what the fuck? And it was like, oh yeah, socks and shoes, and like, it was saying like, oh, you can't have your hair up like this or parted like this or whatever. And, like, it was on about, like, girls wearing skirts and stuff. It's like, what are you on about? You can literally only see people from the maximum of, like, waist up unless they have their camera in a very particular setup. But I was like, what? What does it matter to you if they're in their own home not wearing shoes? Oh, my God. And it's like, I kind of find the whole idea as well, while doing all the homeschooling stuff of homework, quite funny. I've always been kind of the sort of person that I'm not a huge fan of homework. I mean, I know no one's a huge fan, but I mean, even retrospectively after school, I still think it adds very little value to your education, and I feel like its kind of whole purpose is just to kind of make you feel like you're always at school. And even when you're at home, and I kind of think homework's like pretty pointless. I get that it's good to do. Oopsie. I get that it's good to like carry on with. Oh god, we're gonna get hit again here. Nope, because I know God. It's good to like continue your work outside of school. I'm not saying it's not, but when you basically just give kids homework that doesn't teach them or reinforce any learning, it's just kind of, here, do this. And it's like a fill-out form of maths questions. It's like, yeah. Like, I don't really get the idea behind that. I think homework's kind of an outdated idea. One thing that's been kind of interesting for me this year is, as I said, I've been working from home. Like, even my full-time job, I do entirely from home now. And that's been kind of a quite new experience to me. I mean, I fucking love it, I have to say. It is so much better than having to go into an office or anything. I mean, I didn't drive or commute that far anyways, but it's still, like, so much better. And I really hope, at least in the UK, that after the pandemic is properly over, that a lot more companies realise that people don't have to go into the office to work. I feel like it's such a given that you have to go into the office to work if you have one and are able to. But I just feel like so many jobs, so many. Like, I don't know how many, but there is a lot of jobs where there is absolutely no reason why you can't do it from home. And then I saw recently as well, there was like a Forbes article about productivity saying like, or people that are working from home might be dating and watching films on company time. It's like, yes, they're in their own fucking home. If they get the work done, leave them be. Like, I am a big advocate of like, I mean, it's mainly because I've worked under this environment. I've worked under both environments, one very structured and it's like you work your hours, and then the new one that I'm on now, which is just kind of you work until the work's done sort of thing. You don't have any specific hours, you just make sure the job gets done. And I am a big advocate of the second one. Like, I really don't think many jobs nowadays should be you work 9 till 5. Like, there is a lot of jobs that still applies to, like working at on the till at a store, because that's the opening hours of said store. And things where like your business is affected by opening hours, I understand. But like a lot of things, like especially business type stuff where you can work from home, it's your like working times and what, like, however you organize your time or do your work should be completely based on you just getting the job done and nothing else. If you manage to get the job done in 2 hours at 11 o'clock at night and don't work for the rest of the day, what does it matter? Because if you did the same job in an office and you're expected to do that task 9 till 5, what would you do? Would you complete it and then ask for a new task and get paid the same amount for doing both? Or would you mill the hell out of the first task and take a lot of extra time to do it that you didn't actually need to do it, so that you can do the next thing the next day and do the exact same thing and essentially just waste time anyways? Because that's what literally everyone ever is going to do. Like, that's what, ooh, got some shades, some coolness. That's the choice that everyone's going to make. So it kind of annoyed me when I saw that. Like, oh my god, people are working from home and they're dating and watching films and doing other stuff on company time. It's like, yes, they're in their own home. If the work is, if they're doing it and the work's not getting done, then fair enough. You can be mad about that. But otherwise, just fuck off. Let people live their life if they're getting all of the work they need to get done. It's like, I'm obviously, especially because of this YouTube shit that I do, this YouTube shit channel that I've been running for almost 3 years. But especially because of my YouTube stuff that I do, I'm very grateful of like the position I have with my job. The fact that I basically get to just kind of choose my hours and work when I want and just work until the work gets done, because it allows me to organize my time pretty freely and be able to organize my time to record when I want, and it's great. And it means that also, I think one really good thing about the whole not having to work to specific hours thing, which is a huge thing, is productivity. I think like a lot of the time, this happened to me as well, like, because I worked manual labor in a store, just stacking shelves, doing the till and all that sort of stuff, and that was pretty much 9 till 5 sort of job. And you only really have like 3 hours a day. I say most people 3 to 4 hours a day where you are truly productive. Like, obviously you can work the rest of the day, but you might not get anywhere near as much done. And I feel like this method of working highly increases your productivity as long as you're somewhat disciplined with your time management and you don't just fucking, I don't know, just shit away the day watching YouTube. Like, I think it's actually a lot better for productivity, because you work until you don't want to work anymore and you do your best work within that time. And then you do that each day, or you can work for 3 hours and then take a break until like 9 o'clock at night and then do some more at 9 o'clock at night when you are ready to feel productive again, rather than working from 9 o'clock until 1 o'clock, having a half an hour break and having to get straight back to it. Because I always felt that, like, for the first like 2 hours of me getting to work in the morning, maybe an hour and a half, I was completely useless. I was super tired and I couldn't be arsed. And then I'd get really productive around like 11:30 until about 1 o'clock. And I'd have my lunch, and I'd be happy after my lunch because I'd just eaten, and I'd be productive for another hour and a half, maybe 2 tops, and then after that, for the rest of the day, I was useless. I just could not be arsed. And luckily my job when I was working in the shop was that was fine, because you really don't need to try that hard for those jobs. But like in a lot of other jobs you might have to, and I feel like everyone's productivity pretty much goes exactly like I just described, so it doesn't work too well on a whole 9 to 5 schedule. Oh, this is kind of an annoying little setup he's got me in here. And having the sling here is rather nice though. Yeah, well, another thing that I was sort of talking about, I don't know how true this is, but I was reading about it the other day. It was on Reddit, so take it with a pinch of salt anyways. But apparently, it was like something, I think my girlfriend told me about it, or showed me or something. It was something about like how Americans perceive, oh, got the Phantom Pistol again, how Americans perceive, like, what are the big differences you noticed when you came to the UK? And one of the big ones that people pointed out and was quite highly upvoted was that people that work in, like, minimum wage and low paying jobs in like stores stacking shelves or on the tills aren't just like trying their hardest and smiling at every customer and being the most helpful they possibly can. They're just getting the job done and nothing more. And like apparently in America, or at least from the perspective of this person that was talking, the consensus in America is no matter what your job is, no matter what the pay is, you put your all into it and try your hardest and make it look like to every customer that you're loving your job. And I'm like, what the fuck? No. Minimum wage, minimum effort. That's what it should be. If you pay minimum wage, you should be expected to receive minimum effort. It should not be expected of you to fucking pretend like the sun shines out your ass and be at every single customer's need and like fucking beck and call. Like, obviously you help people, you don't just fob them off, but like you shouldn't have to act like you love your job and you're gonna try and put 100% in or 110% every single day or whatnot. Like, I just think that's unrealistic to expect. Like, if you're paying someone minimum wage, you should expect minimum effort. And I am glad that the UK is more like that than America. Like I said, I don't know how true this is or how nationwide it is. It might only be from the specific state that this person was from. But yeah, apparently that's a thing, and I find that bizarre. Like, apparently, like, you can be reprimanded by your boss for, like, not putting your all into it. And it's like, if it's a job where you're in a store stacking shelves and or helping customers or whatever, and you're getting paid minimum wage and you're not putting your all into it, who gives a shit? Like, I'm pretty sure everyone in the UK, or at least most people in the UK, pretty much... Oh, shit, I forgot that guy did that. Pretty much kind of understand, because they've all done a minimum wage job at one point, understand that it's a shit job for shit pay, and you shouldn't expect those people to be super... I mean, you want us to be helpful, but you shouldn't expect them to be, like, bending over backwards to help you out, or, like, smiling all the time and stuff like that. It's like, just... I think everyone in the UK kind of understands that no one has to do that. Or everyone nice, at least. Obviously, you have the Karens of the world. But then again, I think the whole Karen joke and Karen culture, whatever you want to call it, is more prevalent in America. I feel like people are... Like, I'm not saying this as a generalization, but I feel like there are more people in America, more Karen-based people, that just don't have any respect for people working in the service industry than in the UK. And that might just be because America's bigger, law of averages, but still. When I worked at the shop that I worked at, I'm just gonna call it Heron, because that's what it's called. When I worked at Heron, oh my god. I don't really think I came across too many Karens. I came across kind of one, but it wasn't really a Karen. It was just a woman that just didn't really understand how a shop worked. She'd like come in and she'd ask for something, and I'd be like, no, we don't have it. And she'd be like, no, check the back. And I was like, no, we don't have it in the back either, because otherwise it wouldn't be in the back. It would be out on the shelves. Like, we don't just keep things in the back for a laugh. And I was like, yeah, it's we don't have any. And she's like, no, go and check. I won't believe you until you go and check. So what you do is you just walk into the back room, stand in there for 5 seconds and do literally nothing, and then walk out again. And you go, oh, no, we definitely don't have any. And some, like this one woman in particular was like insistent that we did. And she'd like, so it was, I am pretty sure it was something that the store previously stocked and had stopped stocking. Like it no longer had in stock, it was no longer receiving any. Because Heron was a discount store where essentially anything that, read that armor really badly. Oh shit, there was a shit monkey down there. Anything that other bigger stores either had excess or didn't want to buy or were like dated by for some reason. Like for example, one of the things we used to have a lot was like you'd get like bottles of Coke that had like FIFA 12 on them, or well, no, like FIFA 19 on them, but it'd be 2020. And obviously the other shops don't want to sell those, but they're not actually out of date, so we would sell them at a discount. And it was a lot of that sort of stuff. So the stock changed very, very regularly. Like things wouldn't always be in. And I think there was this one thing that was in. I can't remember what it was now. And it hadn't been in a really long time. And yeah, she would come like every few days and ask, and every single time she would not she would not take your answer as truth until you physically walked to the back stock room and checked, air quotations. And even then she'd always like be like, oh, and like I'd tell her like every single time that we probably won't get it back for a while. I'll let you know when we do. I'll ask if we can order it again, and just like she just wouldn't have it. And there was also this other guy that was not quite the same but similar. We sell like fresh bread and stuff, and the bread delivery was on the same time every single day. But on Saturdays it was a little later. Instead of coming at around 9, 10 o'clock, it would come around 11:30, 12. And he'd only come in on that day, on Saturday. Was it Saturday or I think it was Sunday actually, but it came a bit later. He'd only come in on Sundays, and he would always come in around 10 o'clock and be like, why isn't the bread here? And we'd say to him every single time, dude, the bread will never, ever, ever be here at that time of day. There was bread from the day before, but he'd always want like the freshest stuff, like right off the basket. Also, we got little beholster buddies against the beholster. Yeah, he'd always be like, oh, but I want the freshest stuff. It's like, yeah, you can have the freshest stuff. Just arrive a little bit later than you're currently doing, or come on literally any other day of the week where it arrives at the time that you can so obviously pick it up. And I was just like, oh my god. Every single Sunday he'd come in and he'd say the same thing, and he'd get so annoyed about it every time. And I'd be like, for God's sake, it's never going to be here, because it never arrives. Oh my god. It just... there's just customers that you just want to grab them by the shoulders and shake. Like, dude, just understand. Like, okay, I'm going to tell you, I know we finished our run. I'm not going to start a new one because I'll end up getting into it, but I do want to tell one more story before we go, so we're just going to run around the breach for a little bit. But there was this one other time where, for some reason, some little fucking assholes came into the shop and they thought it would be just hilarious to get a box of eggs and open them and just drop them all on the floor on purpose in the middle of an aisle. I was like, okay, absolute cunts, but they exist. You get them. I am gonna hold it against them, but I'm not gonna worry about it too much. But yeah, so someone did that, and another woman came by, and she was talking to someone. I don't think she was on the phone. I think she was talking to someone else in the store, and she had a pram with a child in it, like a pushchair. And I said to her, because she was coming down the aisle, I was like, oh, watch out, there's some eggs on the floor here. And obviously, eggs are quite hard to clean up unless you use salt, but we're not allowed there for some reason. So it took me a little while to clean up. I was like, oh, watch out, don't step in the eggs. There's eggs there. I don't want you getting it on your shoes or traipsing it through the store. And she was like, okay, no worries. And then she kind of budged a little bit further back, closer to it while she was talking to this person. I was like, oh, sorry, just can you just stay out of the way of this area? I'd not curned it off, but I'd put like a wet floor sign down to make sure people knew where it was. And also, I was crouched physically on the floor over the area. And also, there was visible eggs on the floor with shells and all. So I was like, okay. So I said again, okay, sorry, you could just make sure you get back into this. Because essentially, I didn't want her to drive her pushchair's wheels through it and traipse it all through the store, because she would. And yeah, I said it to her again, and she was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. I was like, it's okay, just push your chair forward a little bit. And she did, and then she like turned the chair around to come back down the aisle, and she went right next to it again. I was like, oh, no, can you just move your chair out the way, please? I don't want to get the wheels in it. And she was like, oh, I'm sorry. And then she like went down another aisle, and then came back down the aisle, and the eggs are still on the floor. I've not finished clearing them up. There's less of it, but they're still there. Visibly. There's 2 wet floor signs either side, and I am there on the floor, bent down, with a big old roll of paper towel, cleaning it up. And she comes down the aisle again and just fucking rams the pram, the pushchair, right through it and traipses the egg all the way down the aisle. I'm like, oh my fucking god! Do I have to grab your pushchair by its wheels and throw it? Goddamn woman, I will yeet your child. It was so frustrating. It's like, oh my god, like, do you have the memory of a goldfish, or are you just trying to piss me off? And anyways, I'm getting annoyed just thinking about it. This is why I don't think people should have to be putting on a big old facade that they're super enjoying their job when they're at a minimum wage job, because you have to deal with so much shit. Anyways, I'm going to leave the episode there. This was a fun one. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.